now going on to management style. So we have 5 different management styles. The first one is autocratic. This is where communication is exclusively downwards and manager makes all decisions with no feedback. So the direction of this communication is one way and the decision making power is centralized. So it's really important with all of these management styles that you are aware of the direction of the communication because you would want to include that somewhere in your response. And then also the decision making power. So it's going to either be centralized or decentralized. And centralized just means that the manager is the one making the decision, and there's no sort of there's not another party making that decision. It's the manager. Decentralized is where management and employees have sort of equal decision making power, but there's another party involved besides management that can make decisions. So that's decentralized decision making. Direction of communication. So one way literally just means manager giving orders to employees. Two-way is that like employees and managers both have a say in sort of the decisions. Okay, so autocratic, literally, it's just that managers, they make the decision. They're not really getting any feedback from anyone and they just communicate the decision to employees and they sort of expect them to comply with it. So, yeah, and then we have persuasive. This is when management makes the decision and then they sort of justify that decision to employees. And again, there's one way, decision making and centralized decision making by the manager. So they've made the decision and they're just justifying it to their employees. Then there's consultative, and that's when the manager actually takes the time to consider the input of employees. So they're considering their ideas and opinions before they make the decision. But again, the final decision is made by the manager. So this is two-way communication now because now employees are able to communicate their ideas and opinions to the manager before they make the ultimate decision. And so therefore they have that centralized decision-making power. Participative, this is where decision-making is shared between the manager and employee and both parties engage in two-way communication. So now both employees and management have decision-making power. And then there's also two-way communication. And then there's laissez-faire. And this is when decisions are completely left to the group. Managers give up all decision-making responsibility. And so decentralized because employees make decisions together. So literally anyone now can make decisions. But again, quick rough breakdown. So autocratic, literally manager making decision. No feedback collected at all. Persuasive, manager makes decision but justifies it. Consultative, manager considers the ideas and opinions of employees before making the decision. Participative is manager and employee communicate, both have decision-making power. Laissez-faire, literally anyone can make the decision. All right, and then we have advantages and disadvantages. I am not going to go through this because I feel like the table really sums it up pretty easily, just because I'm a bit wary of time and I don't want to, I want to try and cover everything as much as possible. But have a read of this table. I'm pretty sure the slides are also available, and so it should be in the slides as well. But yeah, feel free to have a read of this. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right, with management styles, you also need to think of the appropriateness of choosing a specific management style in relation to the nature of the task, time, experience of employees, and manager preference. So you might be given a scenario which asks you to sort of justify what management style might be sort of a good one to use. And so you would have to consider these 4 sort of elements to sort of guide your decision. So you have to consider the nature of the task. So is the task simple or complex? The time, so do we have a lot of time to make decisions? Or do we have like months or days or weeks to make a decision? What are the experience of employees? So is it wise to use a laissez-faire or participative management style if employees don't have much experience? Because in that case, you might want to rely more so on an autocratic or persuasive management style where the manager makes the decision and sort of, you know, justifies that to employees if they have more experience in that sense. And then manager preference. So are they a good decision maker or a good leader? So um, is it a scenario where it might be better for employees to make a decision rather than the manager? So sort of some things to consider. All right, literally, I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to do this, but have a read of the scenario. So Ali is the manager of a travel agency. She's been its manager for only 2 months and wants to introduce a key change, development of a new customer service policy that improves the quality of the service provided to customers with the aim of reducing customer complaints. Ali employs a team of 5 travel agents who each have more than 10 years of experience in the industry. Ali does not believe the new policy to be urgent, but the sooner it is implemented at the travel agency, the better its performance. So, which management style will definitely not work? I'm going to put the Slido up for that one. So, which management style would not be suitable for Ellie? Amazing. You can, after the lecture, you can maybe try to answer that question, sort of try and justify a management style that would be the most appropriate for Ellie. We will go sort of explore that in the next couple of slides. But yeah, at the moment, what management style will definitely not work for Ellie. So, you know, try to consider what is the kind of task, what experience does Ellie have, how much time is, you know, is there to make the decision, and then employee experience. I'll give everyone maybe like another 30 seconds. Okay, cool. I think everyone's hit the nail on the head. Definitely not autocratic. So, yeah, within autocratic decision making, it doesn't really make sense because she only has been a manager for 2 months. And so she doesn't really like, it's not enough time for her to be familiar with the processes within the business to make a good decision. But let's have a look at the different management styles for this scenario. So we could definitely knock off autocratic and persuasive. So the employees are a lot more experienced than Ali herself. And so we should definitely make use of them. An inexperienced manager shouldn't be the one to make the decision without help. And so laissez faire, it's a bit of a tricky one because it only applies to specific industries. So it's not really suitable for this one because you're basically saying anyone and everyone can make a decision. So that leaves us with just consultative and participative. So the nature of the task, it's quite open, unclassified, and that means we would benefit from collaboration and detailed discussion, time enough for two-way communication, experience of employees. So they're a lot more experienced, and so Ali should welcome their inputs and ideas. Participative has the edge because employees can also help make the final decision. So, yeah, with consultative, Ali would just be allowing for her employees' inputs and ideas, but then in participative, employees have that can also sort of make that final decision. Manager preference, an experienced manager. Okay, let's quickly run through management skills. So it's important to note that you should try to make a link between management skills and management styles. So what management skills would be used by different management styles? So running through all of the management skills first. Communication, very self-explanatory, but it's literally just the transfer of information between one person to another. Delegation, you're literally just giving tasks, handing down tasks and responsibility to people below you and subordinates. Decision making, all about the ability to create alternative solutions to a problem and then selecting which one is the most appropriate. Planning, it involves deciding in advance, really important in advance, the steps an organization should take to reach an objective or goal. Leading, it's all about influencing and motivating staff to achieve organizational objectives. And then interpersonal, it's about involving the ability to relate and empathize with others and build effective relationships. So it's all about the relationships you build with other people. Okay, so skills and styles. So you need to consider if a management style has two or one-way communication, or if they're using decentralized or centralized decision making to help you decide if it suits a skill or not. So, for example, with persuasive management styles, important skills are communicating because the manager has to explain their instructions and sort of justify their decisions. Delegating, they must sort of clearly articulate tasks to employees, and then decision making, it has all decision making power and depends on their own ideas. Then we have consultative. So important skills for this one is leading. So really about aligning everyone to a goal, motivating the team. Interpersonal, creating that relationship with the manager, creating the relationship with employees. So debating with care and rejecting people's sort of inputs empathetically if it doesn't really suit the situation at hand. And then also communication. So two-way communication means that they must speak well, but also listen to employees as well. Okay,